All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. And we've got some more stuff to talk about with Klint Kubiak. The Klint Kubiak saga roars on. We got more information. Nothing in terms of like concrete, definite, obvious, clear decisions being made yet. And obviously, when it comes to Kubiak, we cannot really have those because we are talking about a guy who literally cannot be officially hired until after the Super Bowl, but we can kind of read the tea leaves here and at the very least look at the hot rumors and understand that we not everything is going to be true, but you can learn a lot by looking at what people are talking about. So I got this tweet up on the screen from Dan Viennes. He's got a little bit of an inside scoop. Kubiak apparently met with Mark Davis of the Raiders last night. He was going to interview today, so I guess he interviewed last night instead, but same difference. All right, everybody, before we go any further into this video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about the Sleeper app. We are just about to the Super Bowl. Now would be a great time to get on Sleeper. It's a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. Celebrate and chat about sports in real time with other users. You can get scores, you can get news, you get alerts with blazing fast speed, all kinds of sports stuff. You can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. Enjoy sports together with a community. Download the Sleeper app today. And when you do, use promo code SBN for up to $100 match on your first deposit. And also, utilize the free $20 entry with no deposit required. All you have to do is make an account for that one. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper and have some fun with sports this year. So that's the second interview with the Raiders, apparently. And today he has a second interview with the Cardinals scheduled. After today, he's locked in. Obviously, at that point, you're in Super Bowl week. So he can't interview then because he's going to be busy putting together a game plan and working with the team. So we don't have to worry about Kubiak getting distracted for the upcoming several days. But obviously, the fact that he's getting second interviews is fairly compelling evidence that he's not going to be here after the season ends. And I want to go over a couple things that have been talked about in the last day or so, because one of my big concerns, the reason why I was convinced Kubiak was gone, is there were two teams that really, really seemed to like him, and he seemed to be interested in joining. If it was one team, then something weird could happen, and then it's just done, right? Like we saw this earlier this week with Mike LaFleur. He seemed like he was a done deal for the Cardinals, and then somehow, some way, he left town without a contract. And I don't know what's going on with them and LaFleur now, but it sure seems like that's not happening. So with one team, it's like, hey, one bad answer in an interview or one bad comment from the interviewer, one bad quote from the owner, and it could all just end right there. And then suddenly he's back in Seattle for 2026. But two teams that want him and that he wants to go to, that's different. Well, yesterday we got this. This is from JPA Football. Although, well, the original source is Tony Pauline, and we've talked about Tony Pauline a pretty good amount on this channel in recent times. Been a source that I've referenced a little bit. Klint Kubiak would rather return to the Seahawks as offensive coordinator than take the Cardinals head coaching gig. So therefore, if that is true, it is Raiders or bust for Klint Kubiak. And then we got this from Ryan McFadden. He reports that the belief is that Kubiak will either take the Vegas job or stay with the Seahawks. Arizona will have the opportunity to state their case, but it seems like Kubiak much prefers Vegas. And unless the Cardinals can sell him on something later today when they meet, he would probably not want that job. That is the sense that people are getting now. So if that is true, that changes things a lot. Now, we know that Kubiak is at least interested enough in the Cardinals to meet with them twice, but that could be him, like I said, looking for trying to give them an opportunity to prove him wrong, trying to give them an opportunity to prove that he does want to be there. So if they cannot do that, and I think there's a lot of reasons to believe they would not be able to do that, then you might see a circumstance where the Cardinals get strung along until after the Super Bowl, and then he says, "No, I'm not going to go there. I'd rather stay in Seattle right now." And look, no disrespect to any Cardinals fans who are watching this video, but you got to admit it's not a very good situation. The Cardinals don't have that much cap space. They have decent draft capital, but it's not over the top. They don't have a way to get a quarterback. Kyler Murray is going to be due either $52 million if he's on the team or $55 million if he's off the team in dead cap space. And they've got like 3 blue chippers on offense and none really on defense. It's not a good situation. And by the way, they're in the toughest division in football by a long shot. There are 3 probable Super Bowl contenders in that division, and the Cardinals are so far behind. It's not a circumstance you want to go to unless you know for a fact you're going to get like 4 seasons to build up. So it's believable. That doesn't mean it's definitely true, but I could see a situation where he's just trying to give the Cardinals a chance to entice him, but with the understanding that it's unlikely they're going to be able to. So this is kind of the parlay here. We need this to be true. We need Kubiak to be meeting with the Cardinals just kind of out of a professional courtesy, giving them a chance to show him something that he doesn't see with them right now. And then we would need the Raiders situation to not go the way it looks like it's going right now. And here's how I feel about it. If we get through the weekend, if we get through the early part of Monday, like let's say we get to Monday afternoon and the Raiders have not hired a head coach and Kubiak has not withdrawn his name from the pool of candidates for Raiders head coach, he's gone. I think if we get to Monday, that's probably game over because at that point, Kubiak will have had the opportunity to size up the Raiders, and the Raiders will have had the opportunity to size up Kubiak. So, over the next 2 days here, basically, like call it the next 48 hours, we need one of 2 things to happen. Either the Raiders need to hire somebody else, like, for instance, Elijah Aviro from the Panthers, or or Kubiak could announce that he's withdrawing his name from consideration for the Raiders head coaching position. Maybe something goes badly when he meets with them and he decides he'd rather not. Again, I think that would be perfectly defensible as well. The Raiders have a lot of draft capital, they have cap space. They've got 2 blue chippers offensively, though, and then very little else. And the ownership situation isn't great. And it's one of those things where they're already kind of locked into drafting Mendoza, number 1 overall. I don't think Mendoza is a good quarterback for Kubiak's scheme at all. And it would not shock me if Kubiak takes a look at that and decides, you know what, it's not my time. If I wait 1 more year, Andy Reid might retire next year. If I have a good year in Seattle and Andy Reid retires next season, I could go get to coach the Chiefs with Andy Reid. Or excuse me, following Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. That's got to be more appealing than taking over a team like the Raiders or the Cardinals. As of right now, the indication is that he wants the Raiders job and would be willing to take it if they give it to him. So I'm not here to say that I think that's definitely going to change, but things can change. We've seen it before. Um, Ben Johnson seemed to change his mind a couple off seasons ago when he was interviewing for a head coaching position, but then ended up staying in Detroit. Now, a lot of people think that was just him doing damage control because he was a poor interviewer and the teams that he interviewed with didn't want him back. We'll never know, but it's possible that happens here as well. So, this is good news. This is good. It takes the Cardinals out of the picture theoretically, or more or less takes them out of the picture theoretically. If it's true, we're headed in the right direction. But the thing is, we only need one team and he's gone, right? We can't clone Klint Kubiak. We don't get 2 chances to keep him. We have 1 chance to keep him. There's 1 Klint Kubiak in the world. So hopefully things go our way. Hopefully we get to keep him for another season. But right now, it's all going to come down to this Raiders team, it looks like. Let me know what you guys think down below. More videos soon. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Go Hawks. And that's about all there is to say right now, guys. I know I've made a lot of videos about this lately, but to me, this is the whole ball game. Especially if this is true with the, this is true with the Cardinals. The other thing is, what if this motivates the Cardinals to just go quickly hire Mike LaFleur? That takes one of the top guys off the market. And who do the Seahawks get on the other side of losing Kubiak? It's not, there's not a lot going on out there that is all that exciting. One thing that Dan Vienne said recently is that Arthur Smith hasn't signed his contract with Ohio State yet. That might be the target. I would definitely say the Seahawks are probably going to go after him hard. But once you get past that, you've got a bunch of guys who, for the most part, do not have play calling experience or have very little. Okay. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. And it goes on and on. And after this weekend, I think that it'll be settled and there won't be much to say. But hopefully that means things went our way. All right. Go Hawks.